Hey, welcome to another fire truck build video. We are Ontario Lakeside, a couple who likes to live off-grid, and we're turning this former fire truck into the ultimate off-grid adventure vehicle. This week's episode is all about water, and specifically hot water. We're installing an instant hot water heater from our friends at Onsen. They sent us a unit to try out with the accumulator and a 12-volt pump. So we're going to get that installed and see how it works. In this video, we're very excited to be working with Onsen. Onsen is a Canadian company who makes on-demand water heaters and water pumps and all the things you need to put a water system into your off-grid cottage or adventure van. So for our grey water system, I'm hoping to use these 30-gallon barrels. They used to have root beer concentrated in them, but I think they're going to fit just fine under the chassis of the truck. In the end, we decided to use 3 of these barrels, 2 in the back storage area for fresh water and 1 underneath for grey water. It was pretty cold outside, so I decided to work on the setup of the pump and the accumulator tank on the workbench. This gives you a good idea of the order of things and let me get all my connectors and pieces of PEX cut before I went outside. Onsen offers these water heaters in a variety of kits. You can buy just a standalone water heater, or with a 12-volt pump, or with an accumulator tank. We got the 5L outdoor propane portable tankless water heater with the 12-volt pump and the accumulator tank and the hose kit. This gives you everything you need to plumb this in anywhere you need hot water. So we've got a lot of space here and here that I think these barrels will fit into, but the trick is to get it under the truck. It's slightly too tall, so I may have to jack the truck slightly to get them in here. But there's tons of room, which is great. The space I'm using for the barrels is where normally there would be a slide-out aluminum ramp. These kind of little cargo trucks often have a ramp that just pulls out the back, but this one does not because it was never used for cargo. And it's higher than the rear axle. More of the recovered steel from the demolition of the interior of the truck is coming in handy for this project. I'm going to cut a piece and use it as a support for the tank underneath. So this is what I came up with. I installed the tank under the truck. I added this strut across here, which is galvanized, and they have 3 galvanized straps that go from a framing of the truck around the new strut and then are bolted in. You can see the rear axle is still an inch lower than the tank, so I haven't reduced the truck's ground clearance, and I think this is going to work. I drilled a hole for the kitchen sink. I had already drilled the hole for the shower earlier. Got the shower mostly plumbed in. I want to get this wall ready to go so I can put up the wall covering, the paneling. Then I can get to work on the bathroom. I drilled holes in the bottom of the 2 freshwater tanks so that I could connect them as a supply to the water pump. I bought these fittings for barrels so that you can get a threaded female connector through the barrel. And I connected them all and used a plumber's putty to seal them up. After they had set up, I also used a sealer around the outside just for extra leak protection. If you watched our previous videos, you'll know that we converted our roll-up door into a static door with a lifting bottom half. Well, we decided to modify it a bit farther and make 1/2 of the bottom part static. You'll see why we did this in a later part of this video. Today's exciting job is to get under the truck and try to install the water lines from the water pump to the kitchen sink. Crawling under the van is always exciting, so let's get to it. We plumbed our off-grid cabin with PEX and it's worked really well. A little bit of water in the lines can freeze without breaking them. As long as you don't have any freezing where the connectors are, you're usually okay. And since we're running most of the lines inside the truck, only 2 of them are going to go briefly below the insulation outside and then back up. I think we'll be okay. And we'll always do a good job of blowing them out with a compressor when we know it's going to freeze. I've renovated 2 houses and always done the plumbing with copper pipe. PEX is a lifesaver. I'm keeping it really simple. There's only 2 places where there's water in the van, the shower and the sink in the kitchen. So the number of lines we needed to run was minimal. This is definitely a case of measure twice, cut once. The kit comes with cables so you can connect the water heater and the pump directly to 12-volt power. You also have the option of running the water heater off of batteries. When we roll into camp, we'll simply take the hot water heater and hang it on the back wall of the truck. Hook up the hot and cold water lines and the propane, and we'll have all the hot water we need for our stay. If you're in a schoolie or a Sprinter van, this could also be a really great solution for you so that you don't have to have the water heater inside your vehicle. So we finally have a day that's warm enough to test the water system. So I'm going to fill the tanks and get the pump going and see if we can make the system work. The combination of the onsen pump and accumulator tank make for a very quiet system. Ah, the miracle of hot water. So this is our setup. We keep the water heater and the propane tank outside where it's safe, and we have hot water inside whenever we need it. And connecting and disconnecting is very simple. It also keeps the water heater in the heated space when it's not in use, in case you do drop below freezing temperatures. And if you wanted to have an outdoor shower or wash the dog or whatever, you can hook up the included shower head that Onsen sends you into the hot water output, adjust your temperature, and have a nice outdoor shower. I'd like to take a second to thank Onsen for sending over their water heater for us to try out. And if you found this video useful, it'd be really great if you could hit the subscribe button and let YouTube know that you want to see more videos from us. Until next time, we'll see you on Ontario Lakeside.